Hi guys, welcome back to episode 14 of Play Like a Girl. With me I have Rosie. She's going to help me co-host today.
Thanks for having me again.
No problem. I really loved when you were here last time.
Oh my god, yeah, happy to be back.
So unfortunately, Laura has decided to step down from SFBN Rhode Island. But we do have a great guest this week. She's the infielder for the Division I URI softball team, and I'm excited to say that we have Abby Fenbert with us. Hi, Abby. How are you?
Good. How are you? How's it going?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. So Rosie, why don't you just introduce yourself to Abby?
Hi Abby. I'm a sports reporter at WPRI, and Gianna and Lauren had me on, and she asked me to come co-host today. So it's great to meet you. I just started covering URI basketball. I moved here in August, so they've been a great team to cover so far. Lots of exciting things happening, and yeah, excited to get to know you.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know, Abby. We actually had Abby on our show at school, The Daily Ram. So she did a segment with my friend Evan, and when I wanted her on my show because she was fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, Evan's great, and definitely an awesome experience to be here as well. So thankful for it.
All right, so let's jump right into it. So the first thing I wanted to know was, how did you get into softball?
Well, it started when I was younger. I grew up playing t-ball with my older brother, Mitch. He's 4 years older than me. And so that was kind of always a competitive thing for us. And I ended up being the more athletic kid. So, it worked out for me. But don't tell him I said that. I hope he's not listening. But yeah, so I started playing t-ball into like Little League baseball and stuff like that, because that was kind of all that was around me in the part of Atlanta that I'm from. And then I was probably 10 or 11 when I started playing softball and kind of made the switch because there's definitely more opportunities for women in softball than there is in baseball, and absolutely fell in love with it and have just stuck with it. So.
Oh, that's great. I remember going to my brother's baseball games when I was younger before I started playing softball, and I was like, Dad, I want to be like him.
Oh,
like I want to step up to the plate. And when I did start playing, my brother actually helped my dad coach like my youngest team that I was ever on. So it was a really good experience.
Yeah, now my brother gets to watch me play and say that he wants to be like me. So,
well, that's great. Would you say that your brother had an influence on you, or that he influenced you at all during the sport?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. My whole family's been very involved in my career. My dad was a swimmer at Ohio State. And my mom was always the driving around in the Yukon with a team into the car and stuff like that. So, I mean, my entire family's been very, very influential in me growing as a player. But yeah, there's always been that competitiveness between me and my brother, playing horse on the basketball hoop in the backyard, trying to hit home runs on the t-ball field and stuff like that. So, I mean, it definitely played into my competitive nature and like my ability to play sports at the highest level. So.
Oh, yeah, I feel you. I was like that with both of my siblings as well. I don't know, Rosie, do you have any siblings where you can relate to that?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I have 3 older sisters, and we were just very competitive in everything, not just sports, literally everything. If someone had someone's shirt, get out, you're in trouble. But no, I totally feel that siblings are a great way to help you find your competitiveness, and then you can take that into the next level, like you said, Abby. But I'm interested, you're from Atlanta. What drew you to URI softball program?
So I had gone to a small K through 12 my entire life in Atlanta, graduated with 163 in my class.
Oh my gosh, that's so small.
And I was just ready to be somewhere completely different and in the best way possible. And I got recruited when I was playing a tournament in New Jersey by the coaches, Coach Perlman, Coach Holt. And they had me on a visit, and I absolutely fell in love. It was the perfect size. I love being by the water. I live down in Narragansett now, and I'm up at school. And it just, I mean, it checked off every box, and I could not be more, blessed and thankful to be up there. So.
No, I completely agree. I also am living in Narragansett, so maybe we're close to each other. But when I was choosing URI, I live in New York City, so I wanted a different scenery, and I went to school. I mean, all my schools were kind of near the water. My middle school was on the water, my high school was on the water, and when I was looking at colleges, I was like, oh, I kind of think I want to go somewhere that has like a water scenery somewhere maybe. And when I came here, I was like, it's great. It's not like Manhattan. I want to get away from there and have something completely different.
It's so nice being by the beaches here. You're so close. It's crazy. I was here for August, so I got to experience some of them. But wow, like being 30 minutes away from a beach it's amazing. It's great. Yeah. Great for your soul. Great to lay in the sun.
Well, Rosie, I remember you saying that you were just, when you moved here, you were so excited to just go to the beach.
Yeah. I lived like 2.5 hours away, sometimes 3 with traffic, and it was just so far away. So here it's so nice. I mean, I don't even care that you have to pay. You just go in and just go to the beach. It's great.
Yeah, no, I agree. So Abby, when you were growing up, were there any other sports that you played, or did you just love like softball and just wanted to pursue with it?
I mean, there was always kind of like the YMCA soccer, which ended up just being way too much running for me. God bless every soccer player, because like I can't hang with that. So I mean, I grew up like playing soccer, kind of like that, or like tennis with my parents. I actually played competitive golf growing up. But I'm not patient enough for that sport. So, and then basketball, middle school, and lacrosse. But I mean, softball, once I got to high school, kind of just took precedence, and it was what I was good at, and it was what I could excel in. And I just absolutely ran with it, and never looked back. So,
you played so many sports, Abby. That's crazy. I only did 2, but I loved softball. Are you a junior?
I'm a senior this year.
Okay. I was going to say we may have been, like, I was at Jersey tournaments too, so we may have been at the same tournaments maybe.
Yeah, I was at the, what was it? It was like the New Jersey Intensity Edison, the one in Edison.
Maybe. I don't even remember the names of them. There was just
I remember it because I hit probably the furthest ball I've ever hit in my life. I still replay that day in my head all the time.
It's always a great feeling.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I was just going to ask that. I've never played competitive softball, but when you do hit a home run, I mean, what is that feeling like? Because I feel like the crack of the bat with the ball, like that has to be so satisfying.
Honestly, you like don't even feel it coming off the bat. It's the weirdest thing. If my assistant coach is listening right now, one of the funniest stories of my college career is that I hit harder than I've ever hit in my life my freshman year of college. And like the crowd standing up, my whole team's out of the dugout. This is my freshman year. We're playing, I think like George Washington or something like that. Yeah. And it's just been a huge scrap battle the entire time. I mean, we're talking trash and stuff like that. It's been an absolute dirt match the entire time. And I hit a nuke, and the team's out of the dugout, everybody's cheering. I round first, high five my assistant coach, Coach Mary, and the crowd falls just dead silent, and the wind has blown it back in because our field is on a wind tunnel, and the girl caught it at the warning track, and it was the most embarrassed I've ever been in my life.
No.
But, no, that's okay. No. I was going to say, I still remember the first time I hit a home run, like that feeling when I was rounding the bases. I was like, oh my God, like I did that.
Oh no, it's like an irreplaceable feeling.
No, yeah, it really is. So when I was watching the video that you and Evan did, you were talking about a big injury that you had. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so my freshman year, just as a throwing injury, I tore my labrum in my right shoulder, which is basically a cartilage that kind of cushions your shoulder. And I tore it, and then I tried to PT through it. And then my sophomore year, it just kind of got to be too much. And so I got a November of my sophomore year, a slap repair is what they call it. I had 2 anchors put in my shoulder to repair my labrum. And then about 4.5 months after that surgery, I was picking up something that was way too heavy for me to be picking up at that point in my recovery because I'm hard-headed, and absolutely ripped my repair out of my shoulder bone and had to get it redone. And so I sat out that entire year and part into my junior year, took a redshirt year my sophomore year. And yeah, I mean, it was a really transformative experience in my softball career. And I learned a lot about the game by just sitting and watching. And I mean, yeah, it took a lot to get through. And when you sign yourself up to play college softball, you never really think that something like that's going to happen to you. You kind of think you're invincible until it happens. But yeah, I mean, it was a big deal, but I'm definitely on the other side of it, very thankful that it happened because it taught me a lot of lessons. So.
Well, going through any sport with any injury is extremely difficult. I can relate to you because I've had some injuries that that were just kept going on and on and on and on. And I was like, when is this going to end? It's just the worst feeling because when you're sitting on the bench and you see your teammates playing, you just want to jump in. You want to be like, I want to be there with you guys. Like, I want to play.
Yeah, Abby, I have a question about your injury. I mean, obviously it takes a physical toll on you, but mentally, how did you kind of get through, yeah, I have to sit out for a year, this kind of sucks. How did you mentally get through that, and how did you lean on your teammates and coaches to get you through a time like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about kind of pouring yourself into the other things that are around you. I mean, softball for my entire life has been almost the thing that identifies me. I was kind of always that girl in softball, like, oh, that's a softball player. That's what she does. It's just been a huge part of my life. And when that gets taken away from you in a lot of senses, it makes you kind of reevaluate some things. And so softball wise, it was all about me just pouring into my relationship with my teammates, really just valuing the experiences that I have with them off the field, like bus trips, time at home, things like that. I mean, I have probably the least boring team on the face of the planet. There's never a dull moment with my team. And just making memories off the field was very, very important for me mentally to get through that. And then just finding things that I could love the same way I loved softball, to kind of take my mind off of it. I mean, I've always played the guitar, things like that. I'm a pre-med, so I mean, like just pouring into my studies and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, that was really integral to getting through it and kind of coming out more positive on the other side of it too.
For sure. Do you have a favorite song or a song that you played during that time on the guitar, or something that you learned on the guitar that you can kind of takes you back to that moment? I know there's like certain things that trigger certain memories. So I'm wondering if that happened with you with the guitar.
Me and my teammate Cece Sidley love Taylor Swift.
I was just going to say.
So I play a lot of Taylor Swift,
Okay.
and that's kind of me and Cece and kind of our entire house that I live with. Go-to artist, but I mean, like Dear John, you gotta scream that one out all too well. Gotta scream it out.
Yeah.
So I mean, like songs like that take me back to it. I mean, I still play all the time and stuff.
Yeah.
My roommates will tell you that I probably annoy them with that, but I love it. And I mean, like it's definitely even now that I have softball back, is still a big part of me, just becoming a more dynamic human and like really pushing myself into a lot of different aspects of life. So
Yeah, that's great.
When was your first game back after your injury?
We have a short fall season that, I mean, like doesn't really like count.
Okay.
But I started hitting fall of my junior year again, kind of the end of fall. And it was actually a great memory, but we have the Ocean State Classic in the fall, which is us, Brown, Providence, Bryant, all kind of play to see who's like the best in Rhode Island.
Yeah, that's cool.
And not to brag, but we win it most of the time. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of my first game back. And I remember, I think I popped out to like deep left center, but I mean, just to feel the dirt under my cleats again and just be out there again was, I mean, just a breathtaking feeling to come back from that and get back on the field. So.
No, that's great. I definitely agree. Right after my injury, stepping foot on the field, I was like, oh my God, I'm home, you know?
Yeah.
It's a great feeling. Going back to when you were talking about the bus rides with your teammates, I remember those being some of my favorite memories. What was your favorite part about that?
Oh, I mean, too many to even remember, honestly. I mean, it's been crazy. We go on some pretty long bus trips. We do an 18-hour one to Elon, North Carolina most years. And while it's kind of the most physically miserable you ever are in your life, it's also the most fun that you will ever have. And I don't know, one of my best friends on the team, Hannah, she bought mini waffle makers, and so we would sit in the back of the bus and make waffles from scratch. Which I don't even know how that happened. Or we'd play like Never Have I Ever or Truth or Dare. We had karaoke. Ari Castillo on my team is a impeccable freestyle rapper when you give her a good beat. And so, I mean, it's just been things like that. When we stop and get food, we'll stop at Chipotle and everybody sprints off the bus to get in line first. And it's just, I mean, too many memories to even think of in one sitting. And I'm super thankful of it. And there are definitely things that I'll hold on to for the rest of my life. So
those are definitely some of the best memories I remember. My brother used to play for NYU ice hockey in college, and he told me a story when I was younger about when he was on the bus. I think they were going to Atlanta. I'm not sure. But he told me that they stopped at a McDonald's, and when they finally got home, he put his shoes on. Somebody had put ketchup in his shoes, one of his teammates. They used to play pranks on each other on the bus. It was so fun.
Oh, we kind of got a strict rule against that, especially if people are sleeping. You don't wake the bear. And I've gotten kind of lucky. I'm the second from shortest on the team. I'm 5'1.5", and my other teammate Cassie is like 5.5. And so I've learned how to fit successfully on one of the bench seats to fall asleep. So I mean, I'm probably one of our team's best bus sleepers and plane sleepers, and that is something I will take to the grave with me. I'm proud of that. So
no, that's great. Let's take a quick commercial break, and when we get back, we'll talk about COVID and how it affected URI softball and you in general.
Yeah, definitely.
Hi guys, welcome back to episode 14 of Play Like a Girl. I have Rosie and Abby here with me. So let's get right into the next question. How has COVID affected the URI softball team, and like what restrictions do you guys have with practices? How different is it?
So they had to cancel that short little fall season I was talking about. We usually play about 8 games, I think it is, in the fall, and they canceled all of those, which was super unfortunate, but we understand completely. And so, I mean, when we got back, we had to do a 14-day quarantine before we could come into Rhode Island if you were from a hot state like I was from. And so when we got back, we were kind of in like 5-person, we call them pods, kind of individual groups, working with the coaches on a smaller scale on kind of position work, things like that. And luckily, as the semester went on, we were able to go up to, I think, about 10 per group or something along those lines. And so, I mean, yeah, it definitely changed a lot of the ways that we practice as a team. I mean, usually by this point in the year, we would have been pretty much strictly on full team practices, things like that. And I mean, that's probably been the biggest challenge for us this year, is just getting the team together. And I mean, working out communication issues, things like that, is a huge part of softball and a huge part of developing a team, especially with a bunch of freshmen like we have, and a bunch of sophomores who got their season cut last year who still haven't really had a full season of college softball. And so kind of going into spring, that'll be the biggest thing for us to face, is just kind of catching up. All the teams around the nation are doing it, but I mean, we've all kind of got to catch up and get together as a team and kind of find that unity and that rhythm that good teams need to have to play together. So,
yeah. How would you say that you're coping with it being a senior? Like, this is your last year on the team, and this is how you're going out?
It was tough because I basically had to choose that this was going to be my last season. I had 2 extra years of eligibility because of my redshirt year, and then last year they gave us another year of eligibility, so I could have been a 6th year if I wanted to. But I think that with my injuries and just kind of my career after softball and the degree that I've really been lucky to get from URI, just made more sense for this to be my last season. And so with COVID, it's been tough because especially we miss out on a lot of those big team memories that we would usually have. I live in kind of the softball house, and we'd always have the whole team over to our house to hang out and just kind of make memories like that and really get to know the freshmen. And I think we've lacked on that a little bit. So I think that that's the biggest part of my senior year that's been affected. But I'm definitely very lucky that we've been able to practice as much as we have and play as much as we have, and hoping that continues into the spring and that we have a successful season and we stay away from COVID. Our team had no positive cases the entire fall. So we're definitely really lucky about that. And it took a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication and following the rules and just being smart. And I'm really proud of my team for that, and hoping we can continue that into the spring. So
No, yeah, I completely feel you. COVID has taken a toll on everybody, especially like not just non-athletes as well, and the number, if you are keeping track of the URI number, just keeps going up and it's ridiculous. But I don't know. We'll see. What would you say is like the hardest thing that you've had to deal with because of it so far?
The Chipotle by my house in Atlanta was closed for a while, and that was tough for me. I go there a lot, and I missed them while they were closed. But other than that, losing last season was actually really tough in all seriousness. And especially we had all of our seniors except one come back for this season, which we're really lucky about. Yeah. And the senior who didn't come back, she accepted a position at an engineering graduate program, a PhD program, and we were all very proud of her. But I think that was the actual toughest thing for me, was knowing that she wasn't going to come back and that she got her season cut short. And so that was definitely the hardest part of it as a teammate, and just watching her go through that. But she's watching Love You, Madison.
No, yeah, I don't know. If I was playing a sport and it was my senior year, I don't know how I would feel. I would just be extremely heartbroken. So I feel for you.
Yeah.
So me and Rosie were discussing walkout songs earlier. What is your walkout song, and what does it mean to you? Why did you choose it?
So we get to pick new ones every year, and we get 2 every year. And probably I like to pick a funny one, and every year to kind of keep myself light. And so I think my favorite funny one that I had was Panini by Lil Nas X, which has no meaning to me other than that it's a hilarious song. Yeah. And that my teammates absolutely love it. And then kind of my serious go-to song was my song all throughout high school that I'll probably make my walkout song again this year, is Moment of Clarity by Jay-Z. And it just goes extremely hard, honestly. It's all about kind of how God's granted me this moment of clarity, and kind of how I've gone through so much to kind of get to this moment that I'm so blessed to be in, and that I just get to perform even after everything I've been through and stuff like that. So it's the one that means the most to me. My favorite on the team though is probably Ari Castillo's Tokyo Drift by the Terrorists, or Erica Robles picking Anything by Beyonce every year.
That was my next question. I was like, does anyone have a Beyonce walk-up song?
Of course. My teammate Erica is maybe the biggest Beyonce fan you've ever met in your life, to the point where she will go out every single at bat, and part of her routine for her at bat is drawing a B on the ground.
Amazing.
For Beyonce.
I love it. Oh, that's great.
Has she ever walked up to the plate and done the single ladies hand movement?
I'm sure she has, because I mean, like, we all scream the songs at her when she's going up there and stuff. But I mean, yeah, I mean, we're all dancing in the dugouts too. So
Yeah. Do you have any superstitions as a softball player? I always ask that question. I think baseball and softball players are pretty superstitious.
Yeah, I'm not crazy superstitious. I mean, there's things that I need to be the same every time. Like my routine when I go up to the plate is the same every single time, which is just kind of a really good reset mechanism and just kind of a focus mechanism when you get to the plate. But no, I don't do any like dirty socks or anything like that. That's not me. But I love putting like eye black on and things like that. Which has kind of been a problem this year with the masks because I just have to cover it up. But yeah, I always think it helps me look a little bit more intimidating with my short stature to just have like really cool eye black on. So
yeah, for sure.
I had to do the same thing. If I didn't do the exact batting routine, I'd be like, hold on. And then I'd step out and do it again. And then I'd go to bat. And one of my friends on my team had to grab dirt and wipe it in her gloves before she batted. Like, I know everybody had something they had to do. I feel like softball players are, Rosie, they are very superstitious. Yeah. Abby, is there any advice that you can give to the freshmen on your team that you would like to say right now?
Oh man, just that it goes by so fast. My 22nd birthday is actually on Wednesday. And I feel so old. And I mean, it feels like I blinked and it was over. And so I guess to the freshmen on the team, just really like put yourself in every moment and like really feel every moment that you're in and just kind of like take a bunch of mental pictures and don't take it for granted because I mean, it flies. So just really pour yourself into the relationships with your teammates and your classmates and your classes and really appreciate this time for all it's worth because it has honestly been the best time of my life. So
yeah, no, that's great. It did fly by, but happy almost birthday, Abby.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy birthday. That's exciting.
Plans. I have 2 classes in the morning and then I have a chiropractor's appointment. So crazy plans for my 22nd birthday. And then I'll probably just have dinner with my family. I'm back home in Atlanta now, so I'm with my parents and my brother, and so I'll definitely spend that time with them and really catch up with them and stuff like that.
Yeah. Rosie, do you have any last questions that you want to ask before the last?
I guess is just what do you plan on doing with your future after graduating and getting everything situated with COVID? And I know it's probably crazy and you're probably sick of hearing that question, but I am really interested. You're an athlete. I'm assuming it has something to do with athletics or something to do. I think you said you were a KINS major?
I'm a biological sciences major with a double minor in kinesiology and nutrition.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
And so I'm currently on the pre-med track, and I'll actually be taking my MCAT in January. And so I'll come home for a gap year, maybe 2 gap years, depending on how things go, and hopefully get a job in research or in direct patient care, and then start applying to med schools and just see where I go. So I'd love to get into sports medicine or orthopedics or something along those lines. Especially just because for as many orthopedic doctors as I have seen in my career, which is a lot, none of them have ever been women. And I think that that's a huge field for us to get into. And it's something I'm really passionate about. And it's something that going through those processes, I wish that I had had a female doctor. And so, yeah, I hope to inspire girls like me to pursue their dreams like that.
Very cool. Good luck. That's awesome.
Yeah, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Great. So my last question, I always leave this question for last. I ask it to every single one of my guests. What does it mean to be a girl and why is it so important for the younger generation to understand it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to there's that little voice in your head that always tells you you're not good enough, you're not big enough, you're not strong enough. That's kind of been ingrained in us through years of people doubting us and people kind of limiting us. And for me, playing like a girl has always meant being able to shut that out and don't let anyone limit what you're capable of, because you are so much stronger than you think, so much more powerful than you think. And literally the whole world is in front of you, and you can honestly do anything you set your mind to. And so playing like a girl for me is just being able to shut out that noise and shut out the people that doubt you, whether it's men doubting you, whether it's your coaches doubting you, even if it's yourself doubting you, and just committing yourself to giving it your all and really investing in the goals that you have for yourself. So.
Well, no, I completely agree. That was a great response, honestly. No problem. But thank you so much for coming on our show, and I loved talking to you. Yeah. Honestly, best of luck to you after college, because you deserve it.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Bye.
Bye. It was really nice to be here. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye. So
that was such a good pick.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah, she was very nice.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for being the co-host, Rosie.
Yeah, oh my gosh, no problem. Happy to assist. The Washington football team won against the Steelers. So the Steelers are not undefeated. It just happened. So I was like, that's why I was looking at my phone. I was like, oh my gosh, they beat them. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people were talking about that game.
I know. Yeah, sorry. So that's why I was like, I felt bad, but I was like, oh my gosh, the Steelers aren't undefeated anymore.
That's your job.
Yeah. But thank you again. This has been so much fun. I appreciate the time.
No problem at all. So as you guys all know, this is the podcast called Play Like a Girl for the girls, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.